Ladies and gentlemen, Evan HP has asked me to react to this video about why Gorod Krovi was the pinnacle of Black Ops 3 Zombies. And if you don't agree, you're flat out wrong. Let's get into this. The facts. Yes, bro.
Summer of 2016 was truly a different time to be alive.
I graduated that year. The Z House happened. Oh my goodness. What a time.
And with Gorod Krovi coming out, made it even better.
Yes.
Hype was at its peak, as we probably had one of the best trailers to a Zombies map, as we got flying dragons and finally got the return of the PPSH. The stage was all...
I have a video on my channel of the PPSH with over 1 million views, just that hype alone. Like, Gorod was easily the most hyped of Black Ops 3. The ending, the little teaser to Revelations, bro, they cooked, man.
All set, and
they
the act
cooked.
of this spectacle has begun. Welcome to the city of
blood, baby. Gorod Krovi, really, in my opinion, was one of the pinnacles of COD Zombies, because I have to say this is actually the last original Ether Zombies map. Gorod Krovi. No BO4 Zombies map was an original map. Revelations was not original. Gorod Krovi was it. And so really, this was the peak, man. This was it. Unbelievable, man. I love this map. It just reminds me of so many good memories. It's the reason why it's the #1 for me.
You spawn in the middle of your war zone, in the middle of Stalingrad. And this map is one of the most aggressive, in-your-face style maps. As you got the dragons gliding across the map and just raining fire from above, this is without a doubt the coolest thing about this map, and it is what stands out the most.
I always say that Zombies can never exhaust its ideas, because this map and Origins are both battlefield maps, yet on Origins you have robots, and on this map you have dragons and hellfire. Like, it's just so sick.
These dragons, I would say, are actually pretty similar to the robots on Origins.
Yes, they literally contrast each other.
Robot, but in this case, they breathe out fire.
And they literally even have the robots here, but they're like stylized in this universe, and the zombie eyes are red. Like, I love the coloring of this map being red. We've never really had a Zombies map that is only fully red like Gorod Krovi, man.
And cover the area in fire, which basically blocks out paths unless you have your shield.
Yeah.
And let's quickly talk about the brand new shield.
Oh, the shield is amazing on this map.
This is the second time we got a new shield with a new ability.
I would say this is one of the best shields COD Zombies has ever had, period. Even better than some of the really cool ones in BO4. I would say this is as good as like the Ancient Evil shield with the spear, and also the 9 shield with the bull, like, shooting shield. I love those ones.
Actually good. This shield can now shoot out a huge fire blast.
Yeah, and you can upgrade it.
And it's pretty good against the boss.
Oh, it's so good.
I would definitely say this is the best version of the shield we have ever gotten.
I agree, because there's not very difficult part locations for this, and this map only has 1 buildable table. Like, it's like Die Rise in that way, where they realized that people don't want to overcomplicate it like Zetsubo, and so they brought it back to GK, making it so simplistic, and it worked perfectly, in my opinion. Every single side Easter egg in GK is a masterpiece. It's so much fun to run, man.
Now, this map of all of the BO3
so in love with this map.
Most like a classic old zombie map. It has a lot of similarities to some maps, like the layout is very similar to Derice.
Yes, I always said this before, because Derice's layout is literally the exact same thing. It's 3 wings where you go to activate Pack Punch, where in Derice it's teleporters, in this map it's dragons, and then instead of the PAP being at the spawn like in Derice, you take the PAP and you put it outside of the map, and that's Gorod Krovi, man. That's why everybody loves this map, man.
This map has 3 sections.
It's great.
The Dragon Command, the Tank Station, and the Supply Depot. Now, the setup for this map is not hard at all, as basically getting most of the parts and getting the specialists has to do a lot with killing and not solving all these puzzles.
Even the Easter egg, there's minimal puzzle solving that is very difficult outside of the Valve step that you can just go to Kronorium.com. Or, like, everything is just so streamlined within the gameplay. That is why I love GK. From right when you spawn all the way into the final boss fight, it's just so streamlined with what makes COD Zombies fun, which is why I don't think there's ever been a zombies map that has ever rivaled this, bro.
And that's
ever.
what makes this map perfect for any old
Yes,
players.
bro.
Getting Pack-a-Punch is actually pretty simple, as a zombie will drop this cylinder,
yes,
and you take it to the color coordinate area. Blue being
you would not have to look up a guide to find Pap or Power. If you play the map enough, you would be able to figure it out. And that's why I love it, bro.
Dragon Command, yellow being Supply Depot, and red being Tank Station. Once you put in one of the cylinders, a drop pod will fall from the sky, and you have to go and protect it. Doing this is not hard.
The graph module, baby.
The pod will attack you, making getting Pack-a-Punch not a headache. Once you get all three, you can finally do the coolest thing in all of zombies. Ride a dragon, dude.
This
is without a doubt the most insane way of getting to Pack-a-Punch, and it's pretty similar to the Mob of the Dead, where you go on a plane, but this time it's a dragon. Now,
I don't get how people didn't like this. There were so many people when GK released, they were like, bro, this is not zombies. When we literally had Shadows of Evil, and people weren't even saying that, bro. Like, that's what I'm saying. People just don't like dragons for some reason.
Once you get to Pack-a-Punch, you are launched into a building standing out alone in the middle of this decimated battlefield.
Oh, I love it.
In this building is the Pack-a-Punch, a dragon egg that you need to pick up for the specialist, and upstairs is the Dragon Strike. Activating this will start a lockdown.
A lot of people don't know this, but this building is actually a reused asset from the campaign from Black Ops 3, and a lot of people didn't know that because most people didn't play the BO3 campaign, but honestly, I love the tie-ins because in the campaign on this mission, it was the first time we got to see zombies in a campaign, and then that part was put in GK, man. It was so cool, the tie-ins, man.
And get ready for
I love it.
Part of the map where you need to basically defend off this building as waves of zombies come from one direction.
The MG42 turret, bro.
And the final wave, they come on all sides.
Yes.
This lockdown is pretty easy to do, especially if you have the Wonder Weapon, which is a gun we'll talk about in a little. Once you finish the lockdown, you are rewarded the Dragon Strike, which is pretty similar to the G-Strike from Origins. You call it, and zombies will go to the area. And
I remember back in 2016 when this map released, people were blown away by this because they were like, how is it that they've coded a dragon to come out of nowhere, shoot hellfire on a specific spot, and then literally go on? It was crazy, bro. I still think it's crazy, man. Like, how technology has even evolved from this point almost 8 years later.
Dragon
crazy.
Will come over and shoot down these green fire bombs and kill the zombies. Now let's talk about the wonder weapon of the map, the ray gun.
The Mark III,
also known as the GKZ-45. To get this gun, all you have to do is get lucky from the mystery box,
which is so easy on GK. I feel like you get it so often,
just like
on this
classic
map.
Zombies.
Yeah.
And this gun is pretty cool, but isn't really all that special, as the left hand shoots a smoke that slows zombies down when near, and the right shoots a regular laser bullet.
I do agree with it not being that special because, again, this goes back to Treyarch's balancing team. This wonder weapon could have easily been infinite damage. It literally has a black hole effect that the Apothecon Servant does, except the Apothecon Servant is always infinite damage, but for some reason the Mark III stops taking out zombies by round 50, right? Like, what is up with that?
It can turn into a mini purple smoke that disintegrates zombies when near.
Yeah.
I would definitely say this wonder weapon is the weakest wonder weapon in Black Ops 3.
It is.
And is really only useful in the Easter egg and against manglers.
It's so unfortunate because it is. Because ultimately, this weapon is a continuation of the Mark II, but it's just not realized to its fullest potential. I would have rather them go all out and make this that much more of a banger, especially when you look at the Ray K in Cold War, the ray gun assault rifle that literally is infinite damage forever. Yeah, it sucks and it's terrible to use and it's unfunctional, but at least it's got more damage than the Mark III. Like, even the ray gun Mark II does more damage than the Mark III. Like, I say that's a L on Treyarch's balancing team because I don't understand their decision making even today.
The boss
doesn't make sense.
But for high rounding, it is not all that great. Now for the specialist weapon called the Gauntlet of Siegfried.
Yes.
This weapon is pretty simple to do. As
best specialist in
the
BO3,
game
hands down.
Tells you how to get it. First, you need to get the egg, then find a spot around the map to put it, and then wait for a dragon to breathe on it. Let it cool. Then you basically have to do these 3 challenges at the bottom of the trial, which are always the same. Kill napalm zombies, penetrating kills, and melee kills. Once you do that, you go back to the Pack-a-Punch building and incubate the egg.
I'm going to be honest, I do wish that the challenges on GK were more mandatory, because on Zetsubo you have to do them to get the lightning strike for the Easter egg, but on GK you don't need to do all the other ones other than the Gauntlet of Siegfried challenge. And so it's like, I kind of wish that they were more utilized. Like maybe if you did all three, like some sort of eternal flame would appear on the map and it would give you some sort of buff. I don't know, just stuff like that has always been so sick to me on GK, man.
Let it cool again.
Yeah.
Take it back to the trials, and you got yourself the specialist weapon.
Yes.
I actually like the way you can obtain this weapon, as you don't have to do all these crazy puzzles.
Yeah.
You basically are just playing the map and killing zombies.
Legit.
And this is a perfect...
That's why this Easter egg and this map is so perfect. It takes a perfect map layout from Doris, makes it even better with the dragon inclusion, and makes the Easter egg so simplistic yet so much fun. There's never been a zombies map, in my opinion, that has topped this. In terms of design, in terms of story, in terms of hype, in terms of boss gameplay, nothing, man. Nothing.
For a casual fan or a classic fan. And the specialist weapon itself is pretty good.
Yeah.
As you get a baby dragon, and you can
it's so cool.
Flamethrower,
so unique.
Then you can release it and have it as a guard. But when you release it, your gauntlet also can be used to thrust into zombies, sending them flying.
I think that's the biggest benefit of Bo3 specialist weapons, is that they were so cool and unique. Whereas you get to Bo4 specialist weapons, and not to diss them, but they're very straightforward. Like one is just hammer, you know, one is just shotgun sword, you know, like it doesn't really have that like extra ability of it. Whereas like in Zetsubo, you get the skull and you're like, what is the skull do? Like, what is this contract? Why do I have a random skull? And then you use it and you're like, oh my gosh, this thing is sick. I think we could have gotten some really cool specialist weapons if the Chaos story did continue. But it is just sad to me that, in my opinion, some of the last best original specialist weapons were really on GK, because Revelations didn't even have one either, man.
This specialist weapon is without a doubt the most unique specialist weapon in Bo3.
Oh, hands down. And the skull.
Now
yeah.
Let's talk about the Easter egg of the map. And in my opinion, this Easter egg has
10
the
out of 10.
potential to be one of the best.
But I know, bro. Everybody gets mad at the Valve step, but bro, I'm telling you, we needed a step like that. People were complaining that Zetsubo got solved so fast comparatively towards the other Easter eggs, and you see that with GK and Rev. Blundell added some really tough steps for people to find, and I don't know, I thought that's what made it fun.
But
you know,
it is ruined by one step, and that is the Valve step.
The Valve step,
This whole Easter egg flowed really well up until this step.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, just does not really fit well into this Easter egg.
I ultimately understand, because it does take you out of the gameplay, but I do respect it because of, like what I said, what Jason Mundell was actually trying to do with this step, which was prolong an Easter egg hunt longer than 4 hours. And that, it did work with GK. It took a couple days. With Revelations, it took a week. And so it's like, it's sad because I see this step, rather than like a bad gameplay step, I see this as a gameplay mechanic that they don't even try to do anymore. Because you look at Cold War, Modern Warfare 3 doesn't even have an Easter egg. Cold War's Easter eggs were solved in like less than 2 hours. I would download the DLC for Cold War, and somebody had already beaten the Easter egg before I even played the map. So it's like, it makes you wonder, was this really a bad step in hindsight, or was this something that was actually cool, you know? Gotta think about it like that.
Mostly getting trophies and doing challenges. And then you got the Valve step, where it just feels like it was only meant to slow you down or make the Easter egg hunt longer.
I'm gonna be honest though, when I hear people complain about GK's egg, it's not about the Valve step. It's not. The step that actually gets complained about the most is the bomb step, because the Valve step is not a difficult step for skill, right? The skill steps are always what people complain about. I just had this conversation with a friend of mine about Elden Ring, and I remember when that game released, they wanted to put out an easy mode for that game. And it's like, it's the same type of mentality for this. If they would have taken out the skillful steps of GK, it wouldn't have been as fulfilling, right? If they would have added an easy mode into Elden Ring, it wouldn't be as fulfilling. It would have been a bad addition. So that's why I think GK is perfect the way it is like that, man. It's perfect.
I love puzzles and zombies, but it just, in my opinion, it doesn't really fit well with this. Now, after that step...
I agree. It doesn't fit the theming, But I respect what Blundell was trying to do so much that I love it still. And it's not even that difficult. At most, it takes you like 5 minutes.
You have
Legit.
to do 5 different tasks.
Oh, and then the challenges are
in
amazing.
random order. One
Yeah.
is the bomb defuse, which
Love
is
it.
personally my favorite. Another is capturing Gersh, a Valkyrie escort, a Mangler escort.
A lot of these steps have also been made so much easier with different skips throughout the years with speedrunning. That's why I love this Easter egg, is because literally it is about skill, and the proof of that is how people find different ways to skip certain parts of these things because it's a skillful based Easter egg. Like, very few Easter eggs in COD Zombies I could say are like this. Very few, man.
And a module.
Very
connection.
few.
All of these tasks are fairly easy if you run the right setup.
Yes.
I really like these tasks as it basically feels like you're just playing the map and not doing all these crazy puzzles.
Yes.
Which is why I think the Valve step is very out of place. Now, once
Yes.
you do all 4 of those tasks, you still have one more, which is always the last one, and that is to take the disc to the pack punch room and do a lockdown. And this is probably my favorite step of the Easter egg. It is pretty similar.
That's funny. This is actually, I think, my least favorite step of the Easter egg. And I think that's because of the skip that was found where you can just leave one mangler and run it around. And it's kind of just a time-gated step. I think it would be cool in practice if it actually worked, where you had a full-on lockdown of manglers and maybe you had to take them all out before it ended. But I don't know. I actually consider this to be probably my least favorite step of the egg because it just stalls the progression. You know,
the origin steps where you have to kill a bunch of panzers, but in this case, it's a bunch of manglers. I love this part as the outside is all foggy.
It is
You
cool.
hear the manglers.
Yeah.
This part overall is just amazing. And
It's actually cool if you play it out, but if you do the skip, I feel like it definitely takes away from what they were trying to do. I agree.
I really do wish they used more of this building and made it its like own game mode.
Yes.
Or turn it into like a little mini survival map.
Yes.
This whole area feels like playing classic zombies where you try to prevent zombies from getting in. Just like the old days.
I think Treyarch needs to realize, because what he just made is an incredible point. There is nothing wrong with having little survival maps in zombies as long as it's not detracting from development on the actual main round-based experiences. I fully agree with this, because you look back at a game like Black Ops 2 or BO3 or BO4, and it's like we could have taken so many of these big complex maps like GK, Voyage of Despair, any of these huge maps, and literally create survival maps out of the bits and pieces out of it. I thought BO2 was onto something with that, and they never brought that concept back. So for sure, bro, yes.
Once the download is done, you have completed all the
and then the
tasks
boss,
get
man.
Ready for one of the best boss fights.
Yes.
Zombies.
I love also the story between this, where all of that work you did was just to get a stupid battery, and Sophia's even laughing at you for it, and you give it to Nikolai, and then that's boss, man. Easter egg simplistic, yet so much fun, man. I'm telling you.
The dragon boss fight is how you do a Easter
Yes.
egg boss fight. The music is incredible as you fight in what feels like this big arena.
Yes.
The chaos this fight brings is truly...
This arena was one of the coolest in COD Zombies because it was literally behind the spawn, and yet nobody had any clue that this was the arena because it just looked like part of the outside of the map. That's something I love, because back in Revelations, I don't know if a lot of you guys remember this, but people actually found the boss fight room in a theater mode glitch before anybody even beat the Easter egg. And I feel like that took away from the experience, because with GK, nobody knew that this was the boss fight arena until somebody got in here first legit. And I think that is the testament to what makes an incredible boss fight arena. It's so big, yet every piece of space is utilized perfectly, bro.
Really, what makes
Perfectly.
this map a spectacle.
Yes.
As you fight along Nikolai in a robot mech suit, and the dragon is just pouring down.
Oh, it's
flames into the
amazing.
arena, and horde
Yes.
of zombies is just rushing at you.
And it detriments you if you don't know the map's mechanics. If you bring in a garbage shield that's almost beat up and busted completely, you are going to get rattled on this boss fight, man. This is a boss fight that I think Zombies needs to bring in Elden Ring type bosses. This was the start of it in GK. We need bosses that ruin you in COD Zombies. Legit, I want to fight some absolute ridiculous type of boss at the end of the Easter egg, because I don't think that you should be able to beat the boss your first attempt. I don't think that's a good game design. If a boss is actually meaningful, that boss should be very difficult, which is why I love Mephistopheles and Infinite Warfare. But seriously, Elden Ring type bosses would be a welcome addition in COD Zombies. Legitimately.
This is truly my favorite boss in all of zombies.
It is,
but once
yeah.
you beat the
It's a double boss.
That is not the end.
Yes.
Nikolai does not agree to our plans, so get ready for a second boss where you fight Nikolai himself. Now, the Nikolai boss, in my opinion, isn't.
And then the music for the Nikolai boss, I can just hear it, like the World at War type music with the campaign. Oh man.
It's a dragon, but
oh
it's still
man.
Good. Once you defeat Nikolai, you get to experience one of the most intriguing cutscenes yet.
It's my favorite. My favorite Easter egg ending, even over Blood.
As
Legit.
we learn that all of Nikolai's wives he joked about were all fake.
Yes.
This cutscene turns a funny character into a dark one in an instant. You learn so much about Nikolai in such a short amount of time.
And so much is even told in this cutscene about the end of the story. You can see on premise Nikolai, he has a bullet wound on his chest. And you can see that this is a cycle that they've been trapped in, where they grab all the souls, they go up to Monty, then Monty resets them back to when they had the 1.0 staffs, and they come into Origins and do it all over again, right? And I love that you can see these little tiny additions and features that show that the cycle has happened. Nikolai has heard old Nikolai say this thousands of times, probably, until they finally break the cycle with Blood of the Dead after Zetsubo. Because GK is the first wrong step in continuing the cycle, right? They're not supposed to go to this map, which is why I think this map does story so efficiently. Like, it's just
Nikolai
so good.
Kills him, and all the souls are collected.
And there you can see the bullet wound as well on him.
At the same time, we get the reveal of Revelation.
Yeah, bro.
Zombies map. And when this was revealed,
there was no other teaser this hype. I kid you not. The way they added it in at the end was perfect, bro. And I'm going to be honest, they have yet to do this since GK. They have never teased another zombies map at an Easter egg ending since Gorod Krovi. That is wild to me. Like the way they did where they revealed the title. Sure, they might tease as to where's next, but they never did it like GK. And I think they should, man.
The whole community was truly
sick
at this moment.
Yes.
Now, this map is pretty difficult as the map feels very fast-paced.
Oh, yeah.
The boss zombies can be annoying as well.
Yeah.
The Valkyries is probably one of my least favorite boss zombies. Now, they look all cool, but honestly, they don't really fit the map in my opinion.
I agree, and I do believe that Valkyries were probably meant for maybe Revelations. Like a map like that, I would see them make more sense on. But to be honest, man, GK definitely did suffer from a lot of things that people didn't like in the community from prior maps that they fix in this map. And so every time they release a map, somebody finds a problem that they fix in the next map, and GK is just a result of that.
I honestly feel like this mini-boss would have fit perfect for a map like Der Eisendruck.
Yes.
And Gorod Krovi would have the dogs. Now for the Mangler.
That's interesting. Okay, let's talk about the Manglers. I hate the Manglers, and it's not because of Gorod, but it's because Call of Duty has copy and pasted these enemies into every mode after. In Cold War, they're on Firebase Z, they're on Mauerder Toten. I don't think they're on Forsaken, though. Are they on Mauerder Toten? They are on Mauerder Toten. And then in Modern Warfare 3, they're in that game, and then they're in Outbreak. It's like, too much, bro. Manglers were supposed to fit in GK, and it sucks because when I replay this map, I'm like, oh man, we have to fight the Manglers again. But it's like, no, I should not be feeling like that. This is the map that did it first. All these maps that are doing it after are butchering what the original design of the Mangler is. And I hate that this enemy is getting copied and pasted over and over. Same thing with the Mimic and the Disciple and the frickin' Krasny Soul. That I just... trash, man. Krasny would have been sick on this map, though.
They are
no lie.
Cool, but honestly are very easy to kill if you got the Wonder Weapon.
True.
I wouldn't say this map is the hardest map on BO3, but is a close second. Now, this map fits perfectly for every playstyle and is...
I think it's the hardest on BO3. I don't think there's anything harder than this map. At least for solo Easter eggs, for sure this is the hardest.
It's a huge plus.
Yeah.
Now, overall, I think this map is great.
Oh, it's phenomenal.
I think this map is a little overhyped, and here's why.
Interesting.
You have to look at it when this map came out. It's
yes.
the summer of 2016, and was the peak of Zombies YouTube. The numbers were high.
Bro.
Was great, and
oh, man, the memories.
Also contributed towards the hype of this map.
Dude, yeah. I honestly, I can't say that doesn't affect why GK is my number one. Because I also think about the timing, and I think back about that time, and all the boys in the Z House, all the zombie YouTubers, all the incredible experiences. And that also shapes why this map is my number one, for sure. Because I definitely was living some of the best points of my life during the time that this map released. And I don't think any other Zombies map has made me feel the type of emotions that I felt with GK's launch. And especially because I'll never forget when it launched, I didn't even have my computer. I played with the Smith Plays Pat on my first time. And I was just sitting there watching him while he was playing it. And I was like, bro, this is sick, man. All these experiences I have with this map, I can remember Z House memories and attach them to as well. And for sure, I mean, yes, it is definitely biased because of the time period, but I think that's also what sweetens the deal up that much more, you know?
This is truly the golden age.
It really was.
Gorod was the reasoning. Now,
yes.
I don't think this is a bad thing.
No, definitely is not.
I have good memories of this map, but I have to say, this map, in my opinion, has not aged well. But today, it is still a great map and is truly the final Ether Zombies map.
I think what's interesting is, so I look at different zombie games and how they perform even after the years, and I went on Steam. Black Ops 3 is selling more than Modern Warfare 3, dog. Like, come on, man. And you go back and you look at, like, on Twitch categories for games like Vanguard or Cold War, people are barely playing the Zombies experiences on those games anymore. Literally none. And it's because, like, it doesn't have the same character, man. The same immersion is not present from BO3 into Cold War and stuff. Don't get me wrong. I love Cold War for all the mechanics and gameplay changes, but it's just the immersion is not as invested as it is in these older games. And so I fully agree, man.
It honestly feels like a true finale than what Revelations would end up bringing.
Exactly, bro. That's why I say GK's the peak.
I don't think we'll ever be in a better time than
the
golden age of zombies.
Yes.
And I feel Gorod Krovi is a big factor as being the most hyped zombies map ever.
I also have to say, though, that I believe that GK is amazing because of how all of these different hype factors have implemented in the community and how also the community has ran with it. They have taken so many great aspects of GK and made banger zombie maps from this. And I think while, yes, we might not ever experience the highs of what GK delivered us, I still think that there are incredible things to have in the zombies community, and I really pray that 2024 COD Zombies round base really shows us off. But Evan, great video, Gorod Krovi, why this map is a timeless masterpiece and truly was the most hype in the whole zombies community. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you go and check out Evan HP. This man is an absolute legend. Thank you again, ladies and gentlemen, so much for watching, and I'll see y'all in that next one, baby.